Welcome to the stretch drive of the 2016 NFL season as we enter week 13. But before we get to that, last week I had a split across the board going 2, 2, and 2, which brings my overall record to 34, 32, and 5, and my upset specials to 9, 2, and 2. So let's move ahead to week 13 as I have a 6-pack of games for you this week. So let's kick things off with a Thursday night special. I have the Vikings plus 3.5 over the Cowboys. I expect a spirited Vikings team at home as their backs are against the wall to make a playoff push. Saying that, I look for wide receiver Diggs to show his speed along with a teammate Patterson to give the Cowboys secondary some problems as they are getting some players back, but I think they'll be rusty, and Wilcox, the strong safety, will be out of this ball game. And I look for the Vikings O-line to have some success against a weak D-line of the Cowboys. So that means AC Otta and McKinnon will find some running room to give Bradford some help. And I expect a big game out of Kyle Rudolph as the Cowboys have had trouble covering tight ends in the last month. And on the other side of the ball, I look for the Vikings front seven to give problems and confuse Dak Prescott as he hasn't faced the speed of a defense like this all year. And Zeke might get his yards, but he'll have to have over 30 carries to get them. And with Zimmer not on the sidelines, I look for them to win it for him. So let's move on to Sunday's games. So let's start things with the Falcons -4 over the Chiefs. In this game, I look for QB Ryan to use the Chiefs' pass rush against them by dumping off quick throws to his running backs in Freeman and Coleman. And I think with the attention paid from Peters to Julio Jones, I expect Ryan to target Mohamed Sanu a bunch this week as he'll be on the shorter and not as good CB games. And with the Chiefs playing a 5-quarter physical game, I expect maybe a bit of a letdown in this game as they faced the Broncos last week and might not have the energy come the fourth quarter to pull it out. For my next game, I like the Redskins +3 over the Cardinals. After facing a tough game and losing at the wire against the boys on Thanksgiving, I look for the Skins to get back on track against a floundering Cardinals teams who's lost their wings. Saying that, I look for the Skins D-line with Kerrigan and friends to be able to push the pocket against a Cards O-line who have a lot of backups and give pressure to Palmer to not have him have the time to look downfield to Fitzgerald and friends. And on offense, I look for Kirk Cousins to keep up his great play with his speedy receivers in Jackson, Crowder, and company, and give them the Arizona secondary trouble. I know tight end Reed might not be 100% or in this game, but I expect Davis to get a lot of targets and play the role of Reed in this game. For my next pick, I like the Raiders -3 over the Bills. The Bills could be tough in this one as Sammy Watkins is back, but he has an injured foot, and I don't expect to him play the full game. Saying that, the Bills' lack of depth at receiver could hurt them in the running game, as the Raiders have a big front seven, and they can put an extra safety in the box to stop McCoy. And Rex Ryan likes to blitz a lot, which that will play right into the Raiders' hands on offense, as Carr can dump it off quickly in the flat to his backs and tight ends, which will open things up later in the game down the field to Crabtree and Cooper for long bombs, as the Bills' DBs aren't the greatest in coverage. So I look for the Raiders to keep on streaking as they head to the AFC West portion of their schedule to close the season out. Now, what you've all been waiting for. I have not one, but two upset specials for you this week to kick off December. So let's start with the Bucks +4 against the Chargers. After a slow start due to injuries, the Bucks defense and play of Winston have really taken off in the last month. And I look for things that to continue against a soft Chargers O-line. I think McCoy, Ayers, and friends will be able to push the pocket and rush Rivers more than he'd like, and the play of the Bucks secondary will be able to handle the Chargers receivers. And on the other side of the ball, I look for Winston to have plenty of opportunities to look downfield as the blocking has become better and the height of the Bucks receivers and tight ends will overmatch the Chargers' shorter secondary. And Winston will have lots of help from his buddy Doug Martin back in the backfield, and I think he'll do that much better with this being his third week back after injury. For my second upset special, I like the Giants +6.5 over the Steelers. Yes, you heard me correctly. These two teams are pretty much even, but I think the Giants have a couple advantages, and they have a deeper receiving core, and I think Eli will take advantage of the Steelers' short secondary and their be that they haven't been able to rush the passer. And I think Big Ben will have a harder time against the Giants' secondary and D-line. So for a quick recap of my Week 13 picks, here they are, and good luck everybody.